thanks for coming out today on this sweltering morning here in Austin. I'll have a couple things to say, and then I'll turn it over to Bill and then Charlie. But we're really excited today to have Charlie Strong and his family, Vicki and Haley and Hope, joining us as new members of the Longhorn family and as our head football coach. After Mac Brown resigned a few weeks ago, we got together with the selection committee and surveyed them with Jed Hughes and got our criteria that we wanted to see for our selection. We had a chance to meet with a number of the lettermen down in San Antonio at the Alamo Bowl and get their input, and then embarked upon a couple of weeks worth of interviews and conversations. And we really feel great about Charlie and the way he really fits our selection criteria. We wanted somebody who was bright and an ethical leader, and somebody who was physically and mentally tough, somebody who could really recruit and evaluate talent, and then once that talent is here, somebody who's a great coach and teacher who can really help our young football players grow both on the field and off. We wanted to make sure we had somebody who had charisma and personality and really can project that personality through all the various media. I think you'll find Charlie does that. We also wanted to make sure he embraced the traditions here at UT and the lettermen that we have, and somebody who will go out and hold our student athletes accountable both on and off the field and continue the great ethical operation that we've had for so many years. So we're excited to have Charlie join us here. He meets all those criteria, and we look forward to many years of success, hopefully with Charlie here for the long haul. Bill?
Well, thank you, Steve, Charlie. Thank you all for being here today on what really is marking an historic occasion at our great university and for Longhorn football. It really is a wonderful day for the University of Texas, and I could not be more thrilled than I am this morning sitting here with Steve to introduce Charlie Strong as our next football coach. Throughout this process, it's been clear that we've been looking for a coach who can win, and Charlie has shown that, but win with integrity. And that's what we found in Charlie. There's no question he's a winner. He transformed the Louisville football program into champions. He was honored as Coach of the Year. His talents as a coach are truly evident. And more important than that, he elevated the football program while increasing graduation rates, developing a culture rooted in academic success. And he has a quote that I think really says it all. He said, "When you talk about a player's future, it all starts in the classroom." And that's the philosophy that Charlie will bring to the University of Texas. He's the right person to represent our university on the field, on the campus, in the community, in the living rooms of potential recruits. He's the right person to carry on the winning tradition that we have here, winning with integrity, that was cultivated by Darrell Royal, DeLoss Dodge, Mac Brown. He is the right person. Let me just say something about Steve. Steve, when I introduced you to the media a few months ago, I emphasized that you have the experience, the savvy, the vision to continue this great tradition of winning with integrity, and I want to thank you for proving me right on that as we see today. What a hire you've made in Charlie Strong. To the search committee that helped us both to hire Steve and to hire Charlie, I want to thank you for your commitment to the university. We wouldn't be here today without your friendship and your support and your help. And finally, I just want to say to you, Charlie, Coach, welcome to the Longhorn family. Kim and I have enjoyed getting to know you. Also getting to know Vicki and Haley and Hope. What a beautiful family that you have. And I look forward to supporting you and the program in any way that I can. I just want to say welcome and hook 'em.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Steve. And I was just hoping I brought this cold weather with me that would block out a lot of this media coming here today, but I see that I see that didn't work. But let me begin by saying thank you for your patience. It was very important for me to meet with our athletic director at University of Louisville, Tom George, and to tell him I was leaving. He gave me my first opportunity 4 years ago, and I wanted to pay respects to him and lead the right way. I cannot thank the Louisville community enough for their unwavering loyalty to our football program and helping that football program go 23-3 in the last 2 years. As well as off the field, it was shown on the field, and you cannot realize the impact that university and the city had on the program. A number of our players graduated. We had 15 players who graduated mid-semester of the 20 that are gonna, with 5 more, gonna get their degree here in May. But I'm so happy for that program. And I always want to know this: whenever you leave a program, you want to leave it in better condition than it was when you got it. And I think that's what we did at University of Louisville. I am so thrilled and fortunate to be the head coach here at the University of Texas, to continue the tradition built by so many great coaches, including Coach Royal and Coach Brown. I can't wait to get started, because at the University of Texas, I want to make sure that we represent the tradition and the history of this great program. We will work like it's 4th and 1, or 4th and inches more than that, and just make sure that our Texas X's are so happy with the product that we put on the field. A program that has won 4 national titles, it's time to put the program back on the national stage. Coach Royal is an icon, and the work he did in this business, I am so privileged to have an opportunity to follow in his footsteps. I also had an opportunity to meet him 5 years ago. I came here and spoke at a high school coaches clinic. And I can remember Coach Brown standing up in that clinic and him introducing Coach Royal. And the high school coaches all stood up and gave him a standing ovation. Just ran chills through my body. And I can remember when Coach Royal introduced him, he said, "It's not me," and it never wanted to be about him. It's just Coach Royal. And all the coaches stood up. And that was so pleasant to see. Had a chance to speak with his wife last night, and she's here in the audience right now, sitting to my right. But it's so happy that she's still a part of this program. Coach Brown has been a leader, and he set a great example for all the coaches. He's a man of great integrity, a man of great success, a man of great character. Coach Brown and I spoke last night, and I told him I want to continue the tradition that he has built here. And I told him he will always be a part of his program. He's always welcome into this program. Nationally, the Texas high school coaches is king. My staff and I will be committed to closing the borders on this great state and making them realize that this is their program. We will recruit with fire, and we will recruit with passion. We're devoted to making Austin the state capital for college football, as well as the state capital of this state. I want to thank the great high school coaches in this state. It will be an honor to represent them and represent this great university. I will ask the Longhorn football team to believe and trust in one another. We're going to create a family atmosphere here. We will be a program that has the right attitude. We will have the right commitment. It'll be a program that is built on accountability and responsibility. And it will be a program that will represent not only this great university, but it will also represent the great national stage. My family and I will embrace the entire athletic program. Both of my daughters, they play club volleyball here. They play club right now in Louisville, and they're going to play club when they get here. But it's so amazing that I had a chance this morning to meet the whole athletic staff. I thought I was walking to a press conference then. There were so many. But it was just so fun, and just so thrilled to see that you look at the experience within this program. There's so many from 1 year to 40 years that have put so much pride into this program. And that's what we want to continue to do, to build a pride and that great reputation that this program so much represents. Before I take questions, I want to thank Steve, our athletic director, and our president, Bill Powers, for their faith in bringing me to the University of Texas. I am humbled and pledged to make this the best. We will always strive for excellence on the field. We will strive for excellence off the field. It's never about me. It's always about the young men. I want to make sure that it's all about building them and making sure that they represent this university the right way. And so happy and proud. Cook 'em.
Again, we'll open it up to questions for Coach Strong. Steve Patterson and President Powers will be available afterwards off to the side. But you can
Coach, how do you want us to address you? First of all, welcome. How would you like for us local yokels to address you? Charlie, Coach, Coach Strong?
It's just Charlie, Coach, Coach Strong. Just, you know, when things do go, if things happen to go bad, just don't say, hey, you know.
Coach,
when Mac made his announcement, do you immediately think this is something I'm interested in pursuing? What's your mindset about the Texas job coming open to the moment today?
Well, I was just, you know, you're sitting there at the university and you already had a job, had a great job where I was. And then when this job did come available, you always want to feel like that this is the best of the best. And I always think about the 1% of 1%, this is the top of the line. And I said that when you have an opportunity, there's so many jobs like this. When you have that opportunity to go to the best, you got to put your name in it and just see where it's going to take you.
Coach, how do you feel about the players, and how will you address them the first time you meet with them?
Well, the first time when I get a chance to meet with the players, I want them to understand that I'm here because I want to be here, and I want to be here for them. And I want to see them grow and develop on the field as well as off the field. And we're going to have a chance to have that team meeting and have a chance to sit down with each one of them. And I'm going to meet with them individually. And so they will understand what are my goals. And I want to hear what their goals are. Really, why are you here? I mean, what's your value? What do you want to be about?
Louisville was your chance to prove yourself. How different was this situation to you?
Well, what I was able to do at Louisville is that get 4 good years, and I did. You're right. I had a chance to go prove myself, but you know, when I think about that job, I think about just all the great coaches that I had an opportunity to work for that prepared me for the University of Louisville. You know, being at Florida with Steve Spurrier, being with Ron Zook, being with Urban Meyer, being at Notre Dame with Lou Holtz, being in South Carolina with Lou Holtz. And then, but I had an opportunity to work with so many great coaches. So when I walked into that job at Louisville, it didn't intimidate me at all because they had prepared me for that moment. And now coming here, I know it's a larger stage, but let's say this. At the end of the day, it's all about winning. It's all about developing young people, and it's all about doing things the right way.
Charlie, you said you want to leave the program in better condition than you found it. What needs to change here so that happens?
Well, I think Coach Brown has left this program in great condition for me. And it's so easy that I'm going to be able to walk into a situation where, you know, it's still about recruiting, and it's still about us continue to build on that tradition. And I think it's in great, this program is in great shape.
Charlie, everybody that we've talked to at Louisville, they keep repeating the words strong, physical, hard-nosed coach. You know, I'm sure a lot of recruits in Texas and all over are watching this. What do you want recruits to know about the mentality you want to instill here?
Well, the mentality is always going to be a physical and mental toughness, and that's what you have to build your program on toughness, and that's where all the successful programs, that's what they do. It's all about toughness, and players understand that because if you are a disciplined program and if you prepare them the right way and they have the right focus, that won't be an issue. But they have to understand, and what we have to be about when we do get our staff together, that it's going to be about the players, and they're going to do everything we ask them to do.
What were your thoughts when you finally found out that you were the guy that they wanted, and it was up to you?
Well, you know, you kind of just sit back and you think about it, and you say, "Wow, you know, it's a great one there, and that's the one." And you know, I said that I was so thrilled to even be in the conversation, and now to become the head coach, it's more. It's just, I'm so proud and just more thrilled now.
Coach, recruiting dead period ends here in 9 days. Is that sort of your timeline to get a staff together, or can you talk about that timeline a little bit?
Yes, the timeline is to get the staff together, and I want to make sure that when I go into that first team meeting that a large majority of my staff is on board, and so that way the players get an opportunity to see who's going to be coaching with them and who's going to be working with them. Because a lot of time, you know, when you have a coaching change, you want to make sure that the players are comfortable, but they have to understand this, that you're here because you're at the University of Texas because you want to be here. There's going to be coaching changes, so even when that happens, you still represent this university.
Have you had a chance to have a crash course in your new roster and give any impressions of what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, what you need to work on?
Well, I haven't had much of the crash course I've had is I get in town yesterday. I run to meet a lot of people, and so I hadn't had much time to even go through the office. Then I come back today, and then we have the press conference. I met my staff, not my staff within my support staff, and then I had a chance to come and meet the whole athletic staff, and then have the press conference. So I hadn't much of a chance to really look at it. You know, just looked at a few guys, knew a few guys, but just really hadn't just locked in.
What were your thoughts of the Texas Longhorns as a team from Louisville over the past couple of years?
Well, I always look at a team, but I always look at just the personality of the head coach, and I know what Coach Brown is all about. So his football team is going to be what he's all about, with integrity, with character, a team that plays well on the field, and a team that represents this university in the right way.
Charlie, can you confirm who will be coming with you from Louisville, or who you have nailed down so far?
I haven't. I've had just some thoughts. I don't really want to say exactly just for sure who's really coming, because you know some of those guys have a lot to think about. And then once you know they decide what they want to do, then they'll get here, and then we'll be able to have that conversation.
Coach, you've had with so much success recruiting in Florida and bringing kids from that talent-rich state in the United States. So what do you attribute all that success to your staff?
Well, you know, you're in two different situations there. When I was at the University of Louisville, you think about the state of Kentucky, there weren't many players in that state. So I was able to take just the knowledge, and there's a lot of guys on the staff that I had hired that had so many friends that was coaching in Florida, so they had built up a reputation, and they had a good rapport with those coaches. But here in this state, you don't have to worry about it, because this is where the hotbed of recruiting is. This is where all the really great high school players come out of, because they're great coaches here. And the coaches here do an unbelievable job, and that's why the doors here will always be open to these high school coaches. And I want them to be here, and I want them to be a part of it, because this is their team. And I want them to understand that when the University of Texas, wherever we are, we're representing this whole state, we're representing this country, but we're also representing those high school coaches, because some of their players are already here, but I want to get more of their players here that are not here.
Coach Strong, you come from a state where maybe football may be third fiddle there behind horse racing and basketball. How do you adapt to being the big dog now here in Texas, obviously?
Well, I'd tell you what happened at the university is Rick Pitino and I had a great relationship. So he never made me feel like that we were second fiddle to the basketball program. I understood that going into it, because you look at what they've done. You look at the national championships they won both at University of Louisville and the University of Kentucky. So just embracing that fact and just knowing that, you know, I could understand that this is the big program here. But, you know, what helped me here more than anything has been at the University of Florida, because that is the program there also.
Charlie, what were your thoughts of, you know, the conversation with Steve Patterson? What did he say to make you think, you know, this is the guy I'm ready to work for, and this is the place I'm ready to go?
Well, we had a chance to just sit down and talk and just had the conversation. I knew where his passion was, and I know what he wanted within this program and what he was looking for. And I told him I was that guy. That's because when you're able to, we're going to have a great working relationship. Then you know that when we both have the same vision and we want the same thing, then it's going to be so much easier to work for one another, knowing that what we represent and who we represent.
What were your in the spotlight now, and Texas bringing in the revenue it does? You said on the record before that you would be for paying the players. Is that some type of agenda you would be pushing for in the future?
Well, you always have to look at it too when you talk about just paying athletes. You know, it's just you generate a lot of revenue. You do, and when you're looking for compensation for athletes, I always think about this also. They're on scholarship. And there's a lot of students on this campus that have to get loans. There's a lot of students that can't afford to go to school. And then, yeah, they have the ability, and they've been blessed with an ability to go play. But also, we're giving them a scholarship, and they're getting a lot, and they're getting a lot done. And if we develop them the right way, their payday will be in the end, because they're going to have a chance to go compete on the next level.
Charlie, what are your earliest memories of this program?
Well, I can remember just growing up in Arkansas, and when Arkansas, and I had a conversation with Coach Holtz. Coach Holtz and I were speaking, and I said, Coach, I can remember those days when Arkansas and Texas would play. And Vance Bedford is a coach on my staff that played a defensive back here. And I was telling him I can remember Earl Campbell, and I said I can remember those great matchups with Arkansas, and they had Ron Calcagney, and there was Earl Campbell, and all the great players that have been here. And that's what's so special when you have so many great players that have played in this game, the Ricky Williams, and now you have a chance to be a part of a program that they laid the foundation for. And it's why this program where it is, because you think about all those lettermen that they're just their blood and their sweat and their passion and their discipline and what they wanted for this program. And now you have a chance to go build what the foundation they've laid. I can just add another brick to it because the bricks are there. I just need to put another brick on top of it.
Is that the main thing? Is that how much you have always wanted to be at a school where football is the most important thing? Because it clearly is here.
Well, it clearly is here, but everybody works together because not only football, basketball, there's all sports and there are all athletic programs. But I don't want anyone to ever think, any coach in this program to ever think that football is king, because I said to them this morning, we had this staff meeting, I said, listen, I am here for you, and I will lean on a lot of you, and I want you to lean on me. This is the University of Texas. This is everyone involved. Whatever, no sport is larger than the other, because I want everyone to feel like this is a family, and this is what it's all about. A lot of times when coaches feel like that, their ego's a little bigger than a university. Mine would never be like that.
Coach, you had the experience at that other school as a graduate assistant. Someday, would you like to be a part of reviving the Texas A&M rivalry on the football field?
Oh, you would love to, because you look at there's two schools that played a number of years, and you'd like for that to continue. But it's so hard now with the different conferences, and now when you're talking about, hey, let's go play another Texas A&M. Now you're asking for a lot of big games to be played, and a lot of schools just don't want to see that happen right now because the number of in-conference games that they have to play.
Charlie, you mentioned going back to Arkansas, or growing up there. Talk about your dad and what kind of inspiration he was for you, and what he's thinking right now.
Well, my dad was a high school coach in this little small town called Luxor, Arkansas. It's between Blytheville and Osceola, and it's so funny. Me and my daughter Hope, we went back there this past summer because every year the recreation center is named after him, Charles Strong Recreation Center. And what they do on this special day is they bring in all these little kids within the community, and there's bicycles. They give away bicycles, and they just have a big fun fest. And so I went back and just handed out a bunch of plaques to all those kids. But he was a basketball coach for over 30 years in that state. But it's just so good that the values that he instilled within his players were the values that I were able to instill within my players, because I had a chance to follow him and to look at how well he conducted himself.
Two things, Coach. One, where you, like most kids in Arkansas, you grew up with a healthy dislike of the University of Texas?
No, I didn't. Because you know what happens when you grow up, just being in the state, you always want your state school to win. But those are some good games, and you had a chance to just watch them, and it was just a lot of fun. Because you just think about just some of those battles. I think Arkansas was #1 in the country one time, and Texas may have beat them like 15-13. Not exactly for sure on that, but it was some big battles.
Just a few years ago, you thought you were blocked out of head coaching positions in places like Texas. How has the world changed so quickly for you in the last 5 years?
Oh, it has changed dramatically, and that's what happened. The college football is changing, and everybody's welcoming change, and it should. And when people are given opportunities, and I look at the opportunity Tom George gave me and Dr. Ramsey gave me at University of Louisville, and I will forever be indebted to that university and that community for just giving me that opportunity. And it had to go prove ourselves, and we were able to go prove ourselves, and not only myself, but just recruiting the right players and the right coaches. But it has changed, and it will continue to change, and that's what it's all about. A lot of times people look at you just being a minority. I'm just a football coach. I'm a football coach directing young people's lives, and I just want to change lives. That's the only thing I'm looking to do.
Coach, you're obviously known for the defensive side of the ball. In terms of an offense, is there a style of offense you have in your mind right now that's going to be here, or is that more determined by who the OC is going to be?
Well, you want an up-tempo offense, an offense that's very aggressive, an offense that can score points, and you like to see it wide open. But you have to realize this: it still is all about just physical toughness. Can you go run the football? The ball will get thrown around, but at the end of the day, you have to line up and run the ball, and that's going to be built just in the toughness within the program.
Do you look forward to having your defensive mind deal with the Big 12 offenses?
Well, it's some really good Big 12 offenses, and you see how just the points that are generated. I think the only experience I've ever had in the national championship game in '08, Florida played Oklahoma, and I can remember. And Bob Stoops is an unbelievable coach, and I can remember when we started breaking down Oklahoma. I said, God, this looked like a Nintendo game. It was like touchdown. They had Gresham, it's touchdown. It was a touchdown, and Bradford was the quarterback. And I can remember that first day I walked in, I said, oh my God, we won't stop these guys. I mean, offensively, you guys it's gonna be a shootout. And I said, we're gonna get embarrassed in the national championship game. We're playing in Miami, Florida, and we're in the state of Florida. And I said, how are we gonna stop them? But then just the more, we kept watching them, and we ended up beating them 24-14 when they had been averaging 50 plus points that whole season. So, you have to get prepared to play, and it's got to be the preparation of the coaches and just making sure that the players have a great game plan when you line up against these great, because I'm telling you, some great offenses. You look at what Coach Gundy has there at Oklahoma State. I mean, you look at Coach Browse at Baylor. I mean, it's like it's a track meet out there. Guys are up and down the field, touchdown after touchdown. So it will be a challenge. It will be a big challenge for us.
Charlie, is there a sense of pressure that comes with taking a job like this?
I'm sorry?
Is there a sense of pressure that comes with taking a job like this?
No, because you know what? If you surround yourselves with the right people, you have an outstanding president here, you have an outstanding athletic director, you have the support staff, and when you have the right support around you, it's no pressure. When you're not prepared, yeah, there's pressure. But it's all about being surrounded with the right people, with an outstanding coaching staff. Then it won't be any pressure. Go recruit the right people and continue to build on something great, and then that pressure eases for you.
Coach, you talk about just being a coach, just wanting to be a coach and change lives, but President Powers talked about how historic day this is. Do you understand what it means to a lot of people that you are, for example, being a football coach here?
Oh, it does, and not only in this great state, but just all across the country. Because, I was talking to a young man, and Floyd Keefe used to be the director of the Black Coaches Association, and he said to me then, he said, he said, well, what you need to think about is all the African American coaches that you are representing right now did not get the chance that you're getting, and it's all needed to be said. Because when you think about it, yes, this is a historical day. It was a historical day when the president was named the president of the United States also. So people are willing to work for you. I think that we're kind of, there is always going to be a first somewhere. So this had to be the first. And whenever it is a first, we're going to make it good. We're going to do what we have to do, and we're going to work to make it better. But I don't ever want to look at it as being the first. I just want to look at it as I'm a coach, and that's the way I want to be treated.
What is the imprint you want to hear?
Just continue to build on the tradition, continue to lay that rock, and then it's all about championships at the end. Number one, I want to do this. I want our players to understand this. You're here to graduate. You're here to get a degree. When you get a degree, then you will always have options in life. Number two, let's go win football games. Let's go win championships. And then number three, I want to make sure when they leave here, they were a better person than they were when they came into this university. And it is. It's about their quality of life. It's about the attitude. The attitude that they develop would be the attitude that is going to change this program. But they have to develop the right attitude.
Charlie, what's your tolerance level for NCAA rules? Because here, that is a very big deal for administrators here to not run into NCAA trouble.
Well, it's a major rule. And that's for any coach. You can't get into NCAA trouble. You should, because it's all about integrity. It's about running a clean program. That should always, that will always be our focus. And I would tell our coaches that is the reason when we go out recruiting, it's all about the integrity. And we're not going to break NCAA rules. That's not going to happen within this program. If it does, the coach probably needs to find somewhere else to go work.
Charlie, can you talk in so many directions as head coach of any school, but especially a place like this? How do you prioritize the other stuff other than what you're here to do, and that's coach the football?
Well, I know this. I was been told I'm going to be the football coach first. So we're going to have our football program, and then we can handle wherever someone else needs us. But you know what? If I have the time, I'm going to do it. If someone asks me for the time, but I got enough support staff around me, and I have enough people working with me where they're going to lead me in the right direction. But let's make sure we get this football program going back. I think everyone's more interested in that than anything else.
What did Mac tell you yesterday when you had that conversation last night?
with Coach Brown. And what I did was I said to Coach Brown is that, you know, I've always respected you over the years. I can remember coming here a few years ago and speaking at your clinic, and I just noticed you're a man of great integrity, a man of great character, and what you have built here, I just want to build on it. I always want you to feel like that you are part of this program. Anytime you want to come to practice, you're always welcome. Don't feel like you have to call me. Just show up, walk around, do whatever, because I will never feel like that he's looking over my shoulder. I said, don't ever think that, because I never will feel like that. You ran your program, and now I have to run mine, and this has to be my program. I'm not, and I said, and then he said it himself. He said, don't try to be like me. And he said, you are who you are because of what you've done, and just continue to be who you are.
Charlie, can you talk about what you took from your time with Urban Meyer and your time with Lou Holtz?
Well, I tell you what was great. What Urban and I, both of us came from under the tutelage of Coach Holtz, but also I had a chance. I can remember when I was working at University of Florida with Coach Spurrier, and he kind of changed college football because, you know, I think that's when the wide open offense came about, and we were just scoring, and he was taking athletes and putting them in position to use their athletic ability, and then having a chance to leaving there and going to Notre Dame. The thing that Coach Holtz did was talked about just the toughness within your program, and it has to be because, you know, being at Notre Dame, it was a program that was built on toughness, built on pride, built on tradition, similar to here, and then going to South Carolina. So when Urban and I, we worked together at Notre Dame, and then Urban became the head coach, and then he ended up coming back to Florida. And so when we were together at Florida, we were able to build that program and go win 2 national titles. But he's an outstanding football coach, and he does it the right way, and it was. And it's the same thing when I talk about just a players program, that's what he's all about.
Coach, there'll be some people that will say, because of the process of your hiring here, that you were not the first choice here. You may not have been the second or third choice here. How do you combat that and say that? Talk to your doubters?
I could have been the 15th choice, and I'm so happy to be the head football coach here. So 20, 15, it doesn't matter. Whatever choice I was, I'm the head football coach. So I don't know where I sit or where I was, but I am.
Coach, it gets warm in Texas. Do you plan on bringing your turtlenecks with you?
Oh, no, you know, it depends on just how hot it is that day. But that turtleneck, I'll tell you this, it's very thin. It's one of those dry fit. It's not a cotton, it's a dry fit. So it does. It kind of keeps me cool. So I don't get extremely hot, just unless the sun is just beating down on me. So whether I have a turtleneck on or a polo, I'm a sweat.
There is a perception that this program has more responsibilities than Louisville or other teams, and that maybe those responsibilities justified is outside of your sort of comfort zone. What do you say to that?
Well, it's just that no one ever knows your comfort zone until you're placed in that position. But I know this. I have John who's going to be working with me, and he will know what those responsibilities are. And I will be able to handle it. I'm not worried about responsibilities because I'll be able to handle whatever's going to be put in front of me.
Coach, if Teddy Bridgewater is available, should the Houston Texans take him #1?
Oh, without a doubt. Teddy Bridgewater is an outstanding football player. And the thing you like about Teddy Bridgewater is just his leadership ability, and not only because of how great of an athlete he is and how well he throws the ball and just manages the offense, but he's an outstanding person, and he's going to represent any organization. Whoever takes him, he will represent that organization the right way. It's never about him. It's all about the team. Because you could just think about the Heisman race, and you just think about our football team. We put him out there because he didn't want no part of it, but just because of his name, he had to be. I told him, I said, you're going to be out in front, whether you like it or not. But he wanted no part of it. But he's such a great person. He's a great person. That's why. Not because of his ability, but just because of who he is.
Charlie, what goes through your mind when you hear the word soft?
When I hear the word a pillow, but no, if something is soft, it can always be. You can get it hard if you just manage it the right way. And I don't know if we're talking about the football team, but you just build toughness. You build toughness, you'll get it the right way.
Along those lines, can you talk about Coach Moore and what he's done for your strength? I would assume.
Coach Moore, the only thing I need to do is just stand him up here because he never smiles, and very intimidating. But when you look at football games, and I always look at a football game, and I look at the strength and conditioning staff, and when you lose those games at the end, I always say to them, how did we lose that football game? Because were we in great shape? Were we tough enough? You know, what happened? It was the physical toughness, but your program has got to be built on toughness, and it starts in the weight room. It starts in the weight room, and so through the winter conditioning, through the work through the summer, you just got to make sure that that's where it's being built.
One of the things that Mac talked about is whoever the new coach is, this team had a lot of injuries last year, and I just wondered, is that something you look into, or who's on that?
Well, I don't know if you can place the blame on it or just, you know, where it's happening, but, you know, players, they do get injured. It's a part of the game. But what you would like to do is when they do get injured, see how quickly you can get them back on the field.
What you want the rest of the pit?
I'm sorry? In the pit? Oh, an injured player will go to the pit.
We won't have to.
No, yes, I think some of you need to get in that pit just to see just exactly how it is, and let my guy run that.
Will you meet with the current staff to see who you want to keep and who wants to stay?
Yes, we had that meeting set up, so I'll have an opportunity to sit down with the current staff and then just see.
When will that be?
I'm not exactly for sure, but it's going to happen either today or tomorrow.
Do you think that's important to have some Texas ties with some coaches staying or some other guys?
Oh, you have to have Texas ties because we're going to recruit this state, and you look at the number of players. So you want a coach that have recruited in this state and knows this state and knows the high school coaches, because like I said, there's so much has been built. And the high school coaches in the state are great coaches, and I want to make sure that the coaches on this staff have Texas ties.
Coach, Charlie, you will keep going to Florida.
Yeah, but I want to know. I want to do this first. I want to make sure that I control this state, and then we will just cherry pick outside the state, whether it be Florida because of the ties I've had in Florida, whether it be Georgia. But I want the high school coaches to understand that when we leave this state, don't think your player isn't good enough to play here, because I want the best players. So wherever they are, wherever we have to go, then let's go get them. But most of them are here in this state.
Coach, hey, you got time for 2 last questions? This could be a while before anybody gets to see your football product on the field. So for the fans, could you maybe give a little idea of what some of the hallmarks of the Charlie Funk football team are and what they can expect to see on the field?
We will be a hard-nosed football team. We will be very exciting to watch, and you know, and for our fans, I think they're going to be very pleased with what they're going to see.
Charlie, when you look at a football player, you took Marcus Smith, who's a 3-star quarterback. Now he's got 14.5 sacks as a defensive end. When you're evaluating a player, what do you have to see to know? Recruiting rankings be damned if he can play.
That's good. I got the media here for this, so they'll like this one here. Listen, let's not get caught up in the 5 stars. Let's not get caught up in the 4 stars. Let's get caught up in football players. And what the guy he's talking about, Marcus Smith, was a 3-star quarterback in high school. He comes to Louisville. He was 6'3", 210 pounds. He's got a chance to be a first-round draft pick at the defensive end, had 14.5 sacks. When I was at the University of Florida, Tim Tebow, Percy Harvin, and Brandon Spikes, that class of guys, we signed 25 guys in that class. I think within that 25 guys, we may have had anywhere from 5 to 7 5 stars, and then the rest of them were all 4s. So, but when that class walked across 4 years later, there was only 10 players left. Whereas a lot of it transferred out, you know, whatever happened. But what happens a lot of times, and in programs like this, and in the major programs, we get so caught up in the stars. Let's not get caught. Let's get caught up in the. Go be a football player. Because what happens, people wonder when you get that 5-star and 4-star and it doesn't work out. What happened to it? And your coach, you didn't develop him. Where's he at? Kenny, I thought you signed all these guys. And so the recruiting service, you know, they kind of move you wherever. And only thing, a lot of times, what needs to happen, I tell you what happens a lot of times. I can be recruiting a 3-star. If I go in there and recruit him, he turns into a 4-star overnight. So how did that happen? Because we came in and offered him? He was a 3-star yesterday, and then all of a sudden he turned into a 4. Teddy Bridgewater was a 5-star. When he was committed to Miami, he was a 5-star. LSU wanted him, he was still a 5-star. He commits to Louisville, he drops to a 4. I mean, like, seriously? And look at him now. He's still the best quarterback in the country. So what? But it's been great, and I look forward to working with you, and it's going to be a fun ride, and I just can't wait to get started. And I am extremely happy and very proud to be the head coach here at the University of Texas. Let's hope.
Thank you, Coach. Stand right there. Pull these chairs out. You guys want to get situated, we're going to take Steve Patterson and President Powers over to the far corner over there, where we normally do our press conference. No. Well, unless you don't want them. No, you can down there. No, we're not. I've got to get them. Huh? Thank you. President Powers and Steve Patterson are going to be available.
Thank you, Coach.
At the south end.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you.